For most of human history, becoming the boss could literally get you killed. Not by an enemy tribe, by his own friends. Because ancient humans had a serious problem with anyone acting like a king. And the way they dealt with it was honestly kind of savage. For nearly 300,000 years, humans lived in tiny groups of maybe 20 to 50 people. No police, no government, no written rules. So who exactly was in charge? Here's the twist. For most of that time, the answer was nobody. Anthropologists call these groups fiercely egalitarian. Basically, nobody was allowed to be better than anybody else. But humans are still humans. And every group has that one guy, the ambitious one who starts bossing people around and acting like he's the chief. So how did the group respond? They had a system, and it was brutal. An anthropologist named Christopher Bohm studied this and called it the reverse dominance hierarchy. Instead of one leader dominating everyone, everyone teamed up to dominate the leader. And step one of keeping someone in their place? Mockery. If a man got too proud, the whole group would tease him until his ego completely collapsed. There's a real ritual for this. Among the Juhuanzi people of the Kalahari, it's called insulting the meat. A hunter brings back a huge animal, and instead of praising him, everyone says it's tiny and pathetic. Why? To stop him from thinking he's better than everyone else. And get this. The people leading the teasing were very often the grandmothers. One Juhuanzi man explained it perfectly. When a young man kills a lot of meat, he starts to think he's a chief. And in their words, we can't accept this. So they cool his heart. Now, if mockery didn't work, the group moved on to something a little colder, ignoring you. They'd just stop listening, refuse to cooperate, pretend your orders didn't exist. In a world where survival depended on teamwork, being ignored was a genuine punishment. But what if someone still refused to back down? Then things got serious. The final option was banishment, being kicked out of the group entirely. And alone in the ancient wilderness, getting banished could basically be a death sentence. In the most extreme cases, a dangerous bully might be dealt with permanently. Bohm found cases where groups quietly agreed that a violent tyrant simply had to go. So wait, did ancient humans have absolutely no leaders at all? Not quite. They did have leaders, but leadership was temporary, and it depended entirely on the task. Best hunter leads the hunt. Someone wise settles arguments. Then the crown disappears again. Leadership wasn't a throne you sat on. It was more like a job you borrowed and gave back. And nobody was allowed to turn that borrowed power into permanent control. The group simply wouldn't allow it. Bohm believed this constant pushback shaped humans for millions of years. It may have literally helped build our sense of fairness, shame, and right and wrong. That gut feeling you get when someone's being arrogant, that might be ancient programming. So what changed? Why do we have presidents and kings and bosses today? The answer is one of the biggest turning points in human history: farming. Around 12,000 years ago, humans stopped wandering and started growing food in one place. And for the first time ever, people could store surplus, extra grain, extra wealth. And the moment some people had more than others, equality started to crack. Suddenly, you could control resources, control food. And controlling food meant controlling people. The old tricks stopped working. You can't really mock a man into giving up an entire food supply. Bigger settlements meant more people, more strangers, and way more things to organize. So permanent leaders appeared, chiefs, then kings, then the giant hierarchies we live in today. The same species that once banished bullies now build statues of them. But here's the wild part. That ancient instinct never fully went away. We still roll our eyes at arrogant bosses. We still love watching the powerful get humbled. We still tell jokes about politicians. We still cheer when the arrogant get knocked down a peg. That impulse is older than cities, older than writing, older than farming itself. It was forged around a campfire by people who refused to let anyone tower over the rest. So the next time you side-eye someone for acting like they own the place, remember, you're not just being judgmental. You're running software that kept your ancestors free for thousands of years. Ancient humans didn't hate leaders, they just refused to let anyone become a master.